right, come and watch as I show you how to make a gorgeous handmade greeting card by adding your own custom color glitz and glam to the limited edition Beautiful Branches Thinlits dies. You're going to love this. I'm so glad you're joining me today. Welcome to StampingSmiles.com. I'm Shelley Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for 15 years I've been teaching others how to create their own hand stamped smiles. Okay, so I have my Beautiful Branches Thinlits dies and my Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper. Let's make a gorgeous handmade card. For our gorgeous and glittery handmade greeting card, we're using only the Beautiful Branches Thinlits dies today, but I wanted to show you that it coordinates with the also limited edition Thoughtful Branches stamp set. You really want both of these. That's my recommendation. And when you order them together in the Thoughtful Branches bundle, there's a special item number for that. You save 10% on both. So if you haven't ordered these yet, you'll want to do that by August 31st, 2016, because they're available only till then. And you can get those in my online store. So we're ready to start die cutting. I have here my Big Shot die cutting machine. Let me show you how this sandwich is started. I have here my Big Shot platform and then the thin die adapter. I need this when using the thin metal dies, like our Beautiful Branches Thinlits dies. Okay, the next part of our sandwich, and sandwich because you know that's how you build it up, I'm using the precision base plate. You really want to use this whenever doing thin metal intricate dies like these. Very intricate, very pretty. All right, this goes down. We want the black side up. All right, so the next part of our sandwich is our paper, and we're using Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper. If I turn that in the light, I hope we're getting some glimmer because it's beautiful. All right, so we're going to have that face up, and then with our dies, we're using this die. This die is amazing. This is the treetop with all of the leaves and also the hydrangea blossoms, and they just both look so right, so good. Whoever designed that is brilliant. All right, and so then we need this. This is for our hydrangea stem and leaves. So you see this, there's a little lip on there. That's the cutting edge. We're going to put that facing down on the cardstock. Then to finish our sandwich, we need a cutting pad. So the Big Shot platform and the cutting pads come with the purchase of a Big Shot. But the precision base plate, that's a separate purchase, but you really, really want that. Love it. All right, so let's go ahead and crank this through. And just cranking that through our machine. And you know what? Whenever I do the thin little metal dies like this, I just go ahead and reverse it. Whoops, easier said than done, huh? There we go, with that paper sliding around. Okay, there we go. Let me show you. Let's set this aside. And then this is all die cut for us. Look at that detail. You know, and you can imagine that this paper with all that glitter on it, you know, it's a little bit thicker. So here's what we're going to do. I have my Big Shot die brush. We're going to gently roll it over this, both of these. Okay. And well, the die just pops off because we use that precision base plate. And then the brush just helps get out all these little pieces. I just love cleaning these up. I really do. I like making a mess and then have something like this to clean up. And so look, they popped out really easily. Then all these pieces will pop out too. You could use your brush. Just don't get terribly vigorous with it. I did the first time and tore my paper. But I could push all these out with my fingers because they're just die cut that well. But my paper piercing tool makes that a little bit easier. Just push all of those out. Okay, and then we've got all this beautiful glitter. Oh my goodness, love this, love this, love this. All right, so those just all need to be done. Okay, and then these, look, they're just going to pop right out too. And so I think it might be quicker just to bend it like I am, and because the die cutting, the cutting is just great. Just did such a fantastic job. So let me poke out the rest of these, and then we're going to do our own custom color. All right, so we have our beautiful glittery die cut hydrangea in white. White isn't what I had in mind. You know, Stampin' Up! Does carry glimmer paper and other colors too. Gold and silver and red and blushing bright. Also very pretty, but I wanted purple. So we're going to add our own custom color to our Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper. So to do that, I have a piece of scrap paper, and we're going to add some Wisteria Wonder Classic Stampin' Pad ink. But before we do that, let me show you something. I designed this card for one of my newsletter articles for the August edition, The Stampers Insider. And this is Melon Mambo. Oh, so very pretty. And if you're not a subscriber yet to the Stampers Insider, well, it is your free source for inspiration, information, and ideas. So just go to www.thestampersinsider.com. It's free to join and free for you to enjoy the tips that you'll get there. All right, so the Melon Mambo was pretty, but I was looking at pictures of real hydrangeas and I wanted something more purpley. So I got out my Wisteria Wonder. We're going to push, flip, and lock that lid into place. And then I have a sponge brayer. All right, so let's load our sponge brayer, and we're going to do that by rolling it across the ink pad. If you don't roll, if you just go back and forth, you know what, you have ink only in that one area. So let's roll, and this is a light color, the Wisteria Wonder. It's one of the subtles. So let's ink this really well. And let's add, and we're going to just roll it right on. Look at that, how it takes the ink. So, so pretty. Let me get some more. Very, very pretty. Liking this a lot. Okay. But it wasn't quite what I wanted. Actually, part of it just really wasn't deep enough. The color wasn't deep enough. I tried Elegant Eggplant. That didn't thrill me. And like I said, I was looking at pictures of real hydrangeas, and it was a deeper, purplier, reddish purple. I can't, a pinker purple. How about that? Not reddish. All right. And so when I got done with that, I thought it was pretty, but not, like I said, as deep as I wanted. Oh, look, I want some more color here. Let me move this over. Okay. And so you can, just keep adding and getting it deeper and deeper. But again, it just wasn't quite the color I wanted. So I thought, okay, what if I add another color to it? What would happen? So we're going to try. So we're done with this. So let's pull on that lip, click, and now we know it's shut. Okay, so I'm going to change colors. And so look at this. You get, when you order the brayers, these sponge brayers from Stampin' Up! In my online store, you get 4 sponges. And so we're just going to pop on another one, because we're going to use the other brayer for the stem and leaves. So there we go. And now we're going to take Melon Mambo, push, flip, and lock that into place. Let's load this up, and I just wait till you see the color we get. It's just not, by adding it to the Wisteria Wonder, we end up with our own unique custom color. Isn't that pretty? Just so pretty. And like I said, when you compare it to the Melon Mambo one, very, very different, and very much like the colors that I was seeing online for the hydrangeas that were this pinky purple. Oh, so pretty. All right, so we're done with that. Let's close this, pull. All right, and then, I was thinking, for this card, I did the stems and the leaves, in just cardstock. And I thought, wouldn't it be pretty to just really glam this whole thing up and do these glittery too? So I have here my Cucumber Crush Classic Stampin' Pad. Push, flip, lock that in place. And then here's that second brayer. All right. Let's go ahead and ink this up. And don't you love how easy it is to roll this on? So easy. And we get really great coverage by using the brayers. I imagine you could sponge it on, but my gracious, this is easy. I know if I were sponging, I'd be bending them. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd be sponging and pushing on that, where the brayer, we just pull in one direction. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Let me take away this paper so you can see. Oh my gracious. And so we made our own custom color, and I think that is just so doggone exciting. So now let's put this gorgeous hydrangea on our card. Look at that beautiful glimmer against the basic black cardstock. All right, I'm going to put a piece of paper underneath me so we can see better working on the black. Okay, so let's start with the stem. We're going to go ahead and put that down, and I have here the multi-purpose liquid glue. Okay, take that cap off and just put a thin line on here. Oh, I probably have a little, there we go, and that dries over top. So we're just going to put a little bit down. We don't want to get heavy-handed and have it squirting out all over. but I do want to make sure I get the tips of every bit of this. All right. So let's go along the outline. That'll be perfect. And so I'm just not squeezing very hard, and this is working quite well. There we go. Because if we don't get the whole thing, it'd be easy for it to lift off, right? Going in and out of the envelope, and wouldn't want to catch an edge. So let's see. I think we did really quite well. Okay, let's get down to this little tippy end here. Okay, so let's pick this up. And I know I want to go down almost to the bottom. Looking really good. All right, let's press that. All right, so I want to show you what I'm going to use for our hydrangea blossoms. I'm going to use the new foam strips. Love these. You know, they're like Stampin Dimensionals, but they're, you know, they're designed for the shaker cards and all that good stuff. And they're a little bit thicker, which I really like. I'd say they're about 50% thicker than the Stampin Dimensionals. But what also works out well, I've used these on the branch or the trunk of the tree with this set. They're just perfectly sized for right there. Very nice. Instead of cutting Stampin' Dimensionals down, because, you know, adding dimension does so much. And look how thin these are. So really easy for me to go ahead and make a bunch of little cuts. And we're going to pop up the hydrangea with it, because doing something like that, something as simple as adding dimension is amazingly, it's amazingly different. You know, the card is just that much more remarkable. And so let's get these off, and we'll hide them, of course, behind the blossoms. Like I said, whoever designed this was just brilliant. Maybe I didn't cut through that all the way. There we go. That it looks, when it's on, you know, the hydrangea, it really looks like them, the way they group the petals together for this, or the leaves for the tree. Amazingly smart. All right, so this is a little bit tedious, but it certainly would be too, cutting Stampin' Dimensionals down, so this will be even less tedious. And I do like that added height a lot. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put these, and of course hide them. We don't want any of that sticking through, because that wouldn't be attractive. And so we're going to just pepper these all around, and then put them on our card. So we're going to add this polka dot strip of fabulous foil designer acetate to our basic black cardstock base. Really pretty, okay? And so, you know, it's like, okay, what do we do to hide the adhesive? And I thought about putting it just along here and letting it hide underneath our beautiful hydrangea. But, you know, then we'd have a risk of this lifting up over there. That's not ideal. So here's what we're going to do. Let me put this against the black. Let's turn it over so the other side is white and this is that beautiful gold. And let's come back with our multi-purpose glue. So we're on the back here, and we're just going to put a little drop on the white dots. There we go. And so this is how we're going to hide it. Clever, huh? So we're going to have a really good hold. So we've got a lot of polka dots. And this won't take very long at all, but really pretty. They use a strip like this in the 2016-2017 catalog. It just caught my eye. It was with the balloon card, Balloon Celebration, I believe. Very pretty. And I thought, ooh, I want to do something like that. And so it was looked really pretty with my card. Okay, so look how quick it was. We dotted that. So let's bring back our basic black cardstock base. Okay. Easy, see? And no adhesive. You know, we didn't go crazy with it, so none of it squirted out. Looking really, really good. Okay, so now for this piece, we're not going to just put it on there flat. We're going to go ahead and put this one on with Stampin' Dimensionals. I don't need quite as much lift, but I do love that lift. Okay, so here are Stampin' Dimensionals, all honeycombed. I'm going to peel that off. Put one in each corner. Let's not go to the very tip, because we don't want to see those from the side so easily. And then on my hydrangea, I made sure that we couldn't see any of those through the hydrangea because it just really isn't attractive. Okay, let's peel these off. Okay. And set this right on here. And so I'm still doing, I want it centered from the top, the right and the top and bottom. And that'll line up with our acetate. Looking really good. Okay, I need to pick that up. I don't press until I'm happy, and I wasn't quite happy. It was just a smidge off, maybe 1/32, but, if I have the opportunity, I can make it right. I always want it right. Okay, let's try that again. I really am a stamper that hovers over her projects, and you'll get the back of my head if I do that. Okay. Well, for Peter's sakes. There we go. Okay, I think that's good. Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. So we've got the black against the black, but with that dimension between it, it's just really quite elegant. I added Cucumber Crush 5/8 inch mini stripe ribbon for the finishing touch to our hydrangea made with custom color glimmer paper for one gorgeous card. If you'd like to make my gorgeous and glittery beautiful branches card, well, all the supplies are available to order in my online store at www.shopwithshelly.com. But remember, the beautiful branches thinless dies in the thoughtful branches stamp set, they're available only through August 31st, 2016, if supplies last that long. Stampin' Up! Sure hopes to have enough for everybody, but don't take a chance. Get on over now to my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. I'm Shelley Godby, teaching you how to create hand-stamped smiles. Thanks for watching.